Go on. Come on, let's go.
Up.
Go on, come on, you got it.
Yes guys, I'm going to show you how I train to build a 160 kg bench at only 68 kg body weight. How often I bench, what exercises I did, how I structured my sessions, how I progressed, and what I think made the biggest difference. Nothing complicated, let's get into it. For me, bench frequency was really important. I found that benching 3 times a week worked really well, but it isn't just about benching more. You have to have different purposes for each of your sessions. For example, I didn't go to the gym 3 times a week just to max out. I had a heavier day where I could work on strength, I had a volume day, and I had a day where I could work on my technique. This meant I could get loads of benching practice in without destroying myself. One of the biggest mistakes I think people make is that they think more benching equals more heavy benching. But it doesn't. You need enough exposure of the movement to get really good at it, while still giving yourself enough time to recover and get stronger. So, what did my bench session look like? I would start with a heavy set of like 3 reps, and then I would drop the weight and do 2 sets of 6 to 8 reps. Then I would do accessories. It would look something like this. I wasn't trying to hit a PB every single week, I was trying to accumulate good quality work. You don't build a massive bench by constantly testing it, you build a massive bench by doing thousands of reps over a long period of time, months and years. Heavy singles and PRs are a result of that good work. Powerlifters get obsessed with low reps, I know I did. But if you want to get stronger, you also need a lot of higher rep work. So I did have periods where I focused on heavier strength work, but also I did things like 5 reps, 6 reps, 8 reps, depending on the exercise. This gave me a combination of strength, technique, muscle and volume. And I found this was much more effective than trying to lift heavy all the time. I put a lot of emphasis on bench variations, and I believe this really helped me get to that 160 kg. Things like pause grip and close grip bench. Pause bench helped me build strength off the chest, and close grip helped me at lockout. I also put a lot of work into my triceps, shoulders and upper back. Things like tricep extensions, rows, lat pull downs, lateral raises and overhead presses. But remember, they are accessories for a reason. Bench is always the main lift. One of the biggest things I learned was trying not to PR every week. If you're trying to build a massive bench, you have to get comfortable with not trying to prove how strong you are each session. There were a lot of sessions where my bench didn't move well, but that doesn't mean the program isn't working. You have to stick to it. It could mean sometimes you're tired, sometimes you had a bad night's sleep, sometimes you've done too much volume, or sometimes you're just having a bad day. And if you respond to every bad session with changing your program, you're never going to hit the numbers that you want to hit. So instead of thinking, how can I PR today? Try to think, how can this week's training be better than last week's training? This is a much more sustainable way of progressing. So how did I actually increase the weights? I didn't just randomly add 5 or 10 kg every week. The goal was to gradually increase the amount of work I could handle. So if I could hit all my sets and reps with good technique, I would slightly increase the weight. And sometimes that increase would only be like 1.25 or 2.5 kilos, but over time it all adds up. And there's something that I think gets overlooked. When you see a big bench, that's all you see. You don't see the work behind it, the 120 kg lifts, the 140 kg lifts. You don't see everything that happened beforehand. You don't see the journey. My 160 kg bench wasn't built with one workout. It was built by adding small amounts of progress over a long period of time. The final thing I like to emphasize is my technique. And my goal here was to make my bench look the same every time. So I made sure my setup, grip, bar path and leg drive were very consistent. And this is why I think practicing bench on a regular basis is so important. The stronger you get, the more important efficiency becomes. So if you're moving 160 kg, you don't want to waste energy anywhere, and you want to be able to repeat the technique when the weights get heavy. So if I had to start again tomorrow to try and build a 160 kg bench at 68 kg body weight, what would I actually do? Well, I'll keep it really simple. I bench 3 times a week, a heavy session, a volume session and a technique session. I use bench variations and accessories to help address my weaknesses. I progress the weights gradually, and most importantly, I'll give the program enough time to work. So that's it. That's how I built my 160 kg bench. And if you're trying to build your own bench, don't worry about what anyone else is doing. Take what works for you and give yourself enough time to see what happens. Good luck and go get that PR.